Thank you, Melissa. It is Faith Time, our weekly conversation on matters of faith. Joining us this morning is Senior Pastor John Breland with South Coast Church in Mobile. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Chad. Thanks.
We wanted to talk about the issue or the idea of planting churches, but let's start a little bit more basic. Your church is part of ARC, the Association of Related Churches. Tell us about what that organization is.
So ARC, as we refer to it, the Association of Related Churches, is exactly what it says in the name. It's a group of churches that really have a tight relationship. It's pastors that have been in ministry for many years that are really building strategic relationships with young pastors and families who are coming online, and it's more of a mentorship and a relationship, not really a denomination as some people would really look at it and assume that it's that.
So ARC really helps with your church planting.
Exactly. It's strategically, their idea is to plant 2,000 churches really by 2020 is the goal, and we're about at 600 churches now, just about 15 years in. Let's
show some images from your church from South Coast that you sent in to us. Tell us exactly what church planting is.
Well, our journey, my wife Tracy and myself, we knew quite a few years ago that God was really calling us into full-time ministry. Didn't really know much about church planting till the idea was introduced to us. And it's really, if you think about it, Chad, every church that exists today at some point was a plant. A group of people got together and said, hey, look, let's do something here significant. And so that really, the idea behind it hasn't changed, but really the methods are what have changed over the years.
Tell me about how church planting impacts a community.
Well, what we've seen, and I think the statistics and the data would support it, Tracy and I'm from Mobile originally, but we lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma for a while, and we really saw where our outreach ministries there began to affect communities in a real positive way, where crime rates were dropping. And so what we've seen here in Mobile, we're in West Mobile, and as we reach out into the community, as we love people, as we make those connections spiritually, we really see how there's a shift even in the community. So we call it a life-giving church is what our model looks like.
Talk to me about how these planted churches really start. Does a couple just decide, hey, you know what, I think there's a need here, let's see if ARC or ARC can help us out?
Well, I think really, there's a lot of church planting organizations, even denominations themselves have areas of the organizations that focus on church planting. But for us, our journey was probably, I think, pretty similar to some other couples. Tracy and I grew up in a Christian home, grew up in a ministry family. I really always thought it would be a part of my life, but I went into the aviation industry for 20 years. But during that time, went to Bible college, graduated, and really just felt a call, as we refer to it. I just kind of a sense that there was something we needed to do more in a full time. We had always been in church, serving in church, but was introduced to this idea really while I was in Bible college, and went on this journey, met ARC, flew to Lynchburg, Virginia, met them, and immediately when I met them, when I heard their story, I knew this is who we needed to do life with.
We have talked about different churches that seem to have the same model. For example, City of Hope, Three Circle Church. Yes. How does your model kind of differ, or is it kind of the same of what they do?
Well, I think the model that we have is specifically focused on planting churches. I think some of the churches that are more affiliated with denominations don't focus specifically on that. That's really the main focus of our organization. In fact, our church, we're a church plant, but we're now getting ready to plant our first church. So really, I think that's what the goal is.
And when will that seed sprout and where?
Okay, so we're now in West Mobile, just off Cody Road. The former Integrity Music property is where we are. But our second campus will launch in Sims at Mary G. Montgomery High School on March the 5th at 10 o'clock in the morning.
All right, Pastor John Breland with South Coast Church in Mobile. Thank you so very much for joining us for this edition of Faith Time. And News 5 this morning will continue after the break.